Alright, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Today is going to be a somewhat different video. I am going to put this in the daily dungeon diving playlist, but we're not going to be going into the dungeon itself today. Instead, I'm going to fight the Gatekeeper here a couple of times. It is 6:52, which means that the Gatekeeper will be respawning in 8 minutes. However, I have not yet killed him. So we're going to hop in here and we're going to kill him real quick. I'm going to head back to my base, grab a couple things. We're going to come back and kill him again. Well, we may get back before I kill him. But anyways, I think I mentioned it in one of my dungeon videos, but the Gatekeeper with the 1.1.1 update, the Gatekeeper was nerfed significantly. Gatekeeper used to have a total of 1,000 HP. However, now he has 600 HP. So he is 60% of what he used to be. They nerfed the ever-living shit out of him. So, like, the last time I made a video, or I think I made a guide on him, I came here with, like, a flanged mace and a one-handed sword and like all kinds of food and stuff. But like now, whenever I want to kill the Gatekeeper, like armor aside, like what you're seeing me with, the one-handed sword and the jerky, this is it. That's pretty much how I fight the Gatekeeper. You just eat a couple of jerkies and then go to town with double auto. Until you hear the wolf's howl. And actually, that one was a little bit close. I'm not going to be 100% up to my normal standards of concentration because I am, of course, doing commentary for you guys and showcasing him. Ooh, that was actually really close. That was actually really close. But the Gatekeeper's dead anyway, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, he is cake now. He is absolute cake to beat now. It is kind of ridiculous. And what was the scroll? Okay, yeah, I'll just throw that in there. But I just wanted to make a little bit of an update video, guys. Not only showcasing that the Gatekeeper is complete cake now, I also want to show off bombing the Gatekeeper's hut. So I'm gonna try and go in there real quick, like. Apparently, it has now been confirmed by multiple people, at least that's what folks on Discord have told me, that bombing the Gatekeeper's hut does in fact count towards the quest where you have to, basically, and I'm just gonna dump all of this stuff in here, it counts towards the quest where you have to blow up your neighbor's walls or something in order to get into their base and whatnot. So, let me see, that's not really going to be of use, neither is that. I'm going to need another one-handed sword, preferably at full strength, to deal with the enemies that I'm going to have to deal with. Because when you bomb the hut, what will happen is he will actually, the hut will actually, or enemies will spawn, rather. I don't know what the hell I'm trying to say, and I need to kind of do this quickly. I probably should have started a little bit sooner, but as long as I get in there, and I get in the zone, before 7 p.m., then the zone will stay exactly how I need it to stay, so it won't be a super big deal. No, I need the, yes, that's what I need. Okay, so, let's see, I don't need the extra armor. 4 bits there, and I don't need the seed, and honestly, I don't need an extra bomb. I also don't need the claymore. Running low on time. I should be able to manage, though. As long as I don't have any ridiculously long load times. But yeah, I also wanted to make this a bit of an update video talking about doing dungeons from here on out, guys. I'm kind of at a place where I don't have nearly as much time as I really need in order to grind up all the things that I need to prepare to do a dungeon run, so that I can have a video for you guys every single day anymore. It's really becoming a major problem for me. I don't have the time. So, unfortunately, things are gonna have to change a little bit. But, let us see what we can find in here. Some falchions, a scimitar, morning star, copper ingots aren't bad, I suppose. I can just equip those. That's a lot of leather. I'm pretty happy to get all that leather. So, yeah, all in all, it's not terrible. Oh, yeah, I guess I can take that real quick as well. And we will go ahead and do that. But yeah, I don't really have time anymore, guys, to do all of that. That and I mean, I've been so busy doing a lot of various things, and I'm gonna go ahead and do a walk here while I talk about this. And actually, let me make sure real quick. Yes, indeed. This is now at 1 out of 2, so that is, again, confirmation that you can use the Gatekeepers Hut, you can blow it up, and it counts towards this quest, which is the last quest in the game as well. I haven't really gone over quests because, for the most part, they're all very self-explanatory. But yeah, that's the last quest in the game, and to be perfectly honest, a bomb right now, you need so much stuff in order to make a bomb right now that it is kind of ridiculous. You need 5 black powder per every level 1 bomb that you are going to make. So right down there, you can see 5 black powder. Also an empty flask and a rope. That's no big deal. But the thing is, every single black powder requires 6 saltpeter, 2 sulfur, 2 coal, which means 1 bomb requires you to get 30 saltpeter, 10 sulfur, and 10 coal. And the saltpeter is not a super big deal, but it is a problem because saltpeter only drops from Knights and Templars. So basically, you have to kill at a minimum. And I say a minimum because Knights do not always drop saltpeter, but at a minimum, you would have to kill 30 Knights in order to get that. Realistically, it's probably more around 50 to 80 Knights, probably. I don't know the exact drop rate on saltpeter for Knights. It feels like it's, from all my various experiences, I mean, I have a chest at home, and actually, I guess I'll just go ahead and run back home and kind of show you. I have a chest back home with all my bomb materials, which I believe you saw very briefly earlier on. And it's got a lot of saltpeter. I have killed a lot of Knights and a lot of Templars to get all that saltpeter. But what I really need to stress, guys, is that as much saltpeter as I have passed on so much saltpeter in the past simply because I haven't needed it. Like the amount of saltpeter. The only thing you need saltpeter for, yeah, you can see I've got 5 whole stacks of it right there. And actually, I used a ton of it to make all of the black powder that you saw previously. I guess I'll go ahead and kind of organize my my stuff here as well while I'm talking. But oops, wrong thing. The number of things that require saltpeter is essentially 1. The only thing you need saltpeter for is the bombs, and I haven't made any bombs, so it's just like I haven't really bothered with grabbing a lot of saltpeter, because it's like if I need saltpeter, it's pretty darn easy to make, actually, or pretty darn easy to get consistently. I just have to fight knights and stuff. There should be, yeah, okay, I'll throw that in there. So I really haven't picked up a lot of it, but I have killed hundreds and hundreds of knights. And I feel like the drop rate on them is probably close to somewhere around 35 to 45%. It's definitely not 50%, but it's somewhere around there. So I mean, you have to kill a good number of knights, but you can get lucky as well. So actually, where do I want to put? Well, I'll take the leather and the weapons up in here. Yeah, that chest is full. And falchions, yeah. I'll probably actually use a bunch of those at a later date. And yes, you can see I have a number of elegant chests up here. They're very nice that they hold 20 items. And I wanted to support the developers after Dungeons came out, so I was relatively happy with the Dungeons. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll throw them a bone and I'll give them, you know, I'll give them $4 and I'll get a couple of elegant chests. If nothing else, they look really nice. Hopefully we will be getting access to Iron and Birch sometime in the near future, in the next couple of months at the very least. So that will help with storage space. There we go, that's just what I'm looking for. Like, what am I looking for in here? And I apologize if anybody's ears are exploding from the doors. It's just kind of the nature of having honeycombed your base. It's just what happens. You know, I can't really do much about it. All I can say is, hopefully you guys do not watch my videos on, like, full blast, because full volume, ooh, that would hurt my ears so bad. But yeah, it's not really worth bombing anything, in my opinion. To get back to why I started talking about bombs, there's just really not anything that's worth it. The closest thing that's actually worth using a bomb for is probably bombing the Gatekeepers Hut and hoping that you get a flame sword. You probably will not, but you can at the very least hope for it. Now, I believe I put my other bomb in here. Yes, I did. So we are going to head on back. It is now 6 after 7, which means, well, let me check my, okay, my bench is fine. Which means that the Gatekeeper has respawned because all of the events have reset. 7 p.m. for me is when the server time, I guess, would be at midnight. So that is, yes, the boss is alive. That is when all of the events reset for me. Of course, that's different depending on what time zone you're in. I'm in the central time zone for the US. So, yeah. But I just want to briefly explain before we go kill the Gatekeeper again and bomb his hut again, that, yeah, I don't have the time anymore to do the grinding necessary for the dungeon runs. So, between trying to do dungeon runs as much as possible so that people have, you know, new content to watch every single day, and also the fact that I've been busy with other things, it's honestly kind of made me hate playing the game a little bit. I guess you could say I'm a little burnt out on the game. I really don't feel like grinding much at all most days, and that kind of results in not only the fact that, you know, I don't like grinding anymore in Grimsoul. It kind of results in when I do have a little bit of free time to maybe do a quick wood run or something like that. Like, I'm just like, but do I really want to go do a wood run? I don't know. Maybe I'd rather just go look at some information and go check Discord and see what people are talking about, and then, you know, I get distracted doing that for 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is, and then it's like, oh, well, I've got something I've got to do again. So, yep, that's kind of a window that's passed me by. So, I'm probably going to not post videos every single day anymore. That's not to say that I'm not going to be doing any more dungeon runs for you guys. That is not the case. I will continue doing dungeon runs. I've recently had to fulfill a promise on Discord and change my name to Unlucky Fox, because I have gone 10 dungeon runs in a row now without seeing a single unique. And actually, I was just watching Raygor's live stream the other night, and I watched him get a poison dagger from a plague spawn. Like, he killed a plague spawn, checked the loot, boom, poison dagger, and I was just like, I hate you. I hate you so much. And he apologized to me. He's like, I'm sorry, Fox, because, yeah, I've had the worst luck, guys. Oh my god. That's another reason why I'm not really very happy with the game right now, and I'm not feeling like playing a lot, is just because the dungeon has been extremely uncooperative. There are so many people who've gotten so many uniques, and I've done 10 runs, and I have yet to see one in my game. I have yet to see one, guys. It is kind of ridiculous. So I'm a little demoralized from that, but I am going to continue doing it. What I'll likely end up doing, guys, is I'm probably going to end up doing one dungeon run probably every week. So it's going to be more like a weekly dungeon run. Of course, every dungeon run that I do results in generally 4 videos, so hopefully the longest gap between videos will now be about 3 days. But yeah, I have things that I need to do, you know, real world responsibilities and all of that. So I apologize. The series is called Daily Dungeon Diving, but I can't keep doing it the way I've been doing it. It's a little ridiculous. I already have all 10 of my dungeon runs up on YouTube. The last video for my 10th run should have uploaded itself, or rather released, an hour from now, as of me recording this, which is on Sunday, August 5th. So, yeah, it should be up by now, and I'll probably release this. I'll upload this, because it's just going to be one video. I'll upload this tomorrow, or tonight, rather, and you guys should see it tomorrow, on the 6th. But, yeah, I felt like I needed to give people a heads up. I'm just not going to be able to do a video every single day. I just can't do it. And I've got all 10 dungeon runs currently up. However, I haven't analyzed the 9th or 10th run. I haven't had time to really go through the video and see how many of each enemy I've fought and all of that. I still need to organize a spreadsheet so that I can put down information on enemy drops. I need to do that at some point, and then once I do that, I'm going to have to start going through all of my videos from the beginning of this playlist and start, plugging in the information, seeing what each enemy has dropped and such. I'll have to start doing that sometime soon. I really don't have the time to do it right now, so I don't know when I'll get around to it, but I'll get around to it when I can. And then the last thing I want to discuss before we go in here and kill the Gatekeeper again is we got a post from the developers a day or two ago on Facebook about what they've been working on recently. And from what I had heard, I thought that the developers were seriously just focusing on the second floor of the dungeon. They wanted to get that done. They wanted to give us a really, really solid and satisfying dungeon experience by making the second floor and making the second floor a lot more, I guess, diverse and potentially much different than the first floor. They pretty much stated that they will release it once they are happy with the quality of it, which I can only kind of surmise means they don't want it to be a carbon copy of what the first floor is. So I thought they had been working on that, but apparently the Facebook post kind of mentioned otherwise. They announced on Facebook that they have been working on the bow, guys. Which is a pretty big deal. They showed a quick picture of a guy with a simple bow. They've been talking, or they talked about it briefly in the post, that they're working on fine-tuning the bow mechanics and whatnot. So generally, what they've been doing, aside from the dungeon, and I've mentioned this once or twice in the series, guys, that generally what they've been doing, aside from the dungeon update, is they release one minor update and one major update pretty much every month. The dungeon was a really big feature, especially since they made it procedurally generated. It's different every time you go in. So that one took like 2.5 months. But for the most part, before that, they were doing updates where they had one minor thing, which was just like bug fixes, maybe a little game balancing stuff, changing a couple of items, and then they would have a major update, like they would introduce the Gatekeeper, or they would introduce coal and sulfur into night caches and stuff like that. Which, I guess that the coal and sulfur thing probably would have been more of a minor update, but it seemed like a major thing at the time. But yeah, they pretty much mentioned the bow, and from what I can understand, if they said that they are kind of fine-tuning it, that probably means that they're mostly done. Now, there's a lot of speculation as to what the bow mechanics will actually be like. However, we can see what the bow stats are going to be already. You just have to hold down over the item in the crafting menu here, and you can check out what the stats are. So as you can see, the simple bow doesn't have a tremendous deal of attack power, but it has 5 range, which, to give you some perspective on that, the highest range weapon that we can currently use in the game is the halberd. It has a range of 2.3. That is some pretty significant range. The bow, however, is more than double that. And this is just the simple bow. We can move on to the simple crossbow, which has a damage of 30 and an attack range of 6. Which, as you can see, requires bronze. So that's going to be probably not something we make a whole lot. We don't yet know anything about bowstrings. We don't know where we'll get them necessarily, if they'll be craftable, anything like that. but it's very interesting. Once we do have bows, it's going to make the dungeons considerably easier. What we've essentially been doing up till now in the dungeon runs, guys, is we're using the cart fill around objects in the dungeon to kite enemies around and hit them without taking any damage in return. And the bow will massively improve our efficiency of that. So depending on how rare the bowstrings are or how hard they are to get, it will completely change the way that we do the dungeon. And once the bow comes out, once we have some idea of where to get bowstrings and whatnot, I will of course make a video on that. I don't know if I will make a separate video, more like a guide type video to cover the bow, or if I will just kind of include all of that information in one of the dungeon runs. But it'll be one or the other. So that's kind of the other thing. From what I can see, the light crossbow here is going to be kind of a waste. It's a little more damage than the simple crossbow, but again, it uses iron and it uses oak. We don't even know if oak is in the game, like, at all. Like, I can go up here to the tier 4 zone up here, and it's the birch forest, which obviously this is where we get birch, and you can see that the metal there, the rocks have dull gray silver tint to them. So of course that's where we'll get iron. We will get iron in these birch zones, but of course we can't actually get here until we have the horse. But they make no mention about oak, like, at all. Like, there is no zone anywhere in the game, not even in these zones that are way the hell out here for absolutely no reason. There's absolutely no reason to go to any of these zones down here. But, like, there is essentially no area in the game that even mentions oak, even remotely. So I have no idea where we're going to get oak. That will either get changed later on, or this might get changed to, like, birch, because it's also iron. You get them in the same general area. But yeah, this is probably going to be pretty wasted. It's not going to be something we do at all. And then the composite bow is just something that's going to be way in the future. As you can see, it has a lot of damage and even more range, but it requires meteoric ingots, which are something that, as far as I know, are definitely not in the game, and they're not even anywhere remotely close to being put in the game. And then, of course, the heavy crossbow, which we can't even see what it'll take to make that, but this will obviously be the creme de la creme of ranged weaponry with 100 damage and 8 attack range. That's going to be absolutely fantastic. I'd love to make one of these secret caches someday too, but yeah, pretty much from what I can tell, once the bow the bow string is put in the game, these are really going to be our options for the most part. And honestly, I would take the simple bow over the simple crossbow, simply because the simple crossbow requires bronze, but we're going to have to see what exactly the shooting mechanics are, as well as how durable a simple bow is, as opposed to the simple crossbow. If the bow has a durability of, like, I don't know, 40 something or 50 something, it's going to be on the lower end of durabilities, whereas if the simple crossbow is kind of like the falchion, where it has like 90 something durability, maybe that would be worth it then. Again, that will kind of depend on the rarity and difficulty of acquiring bowstrings, so we don't really know as of yet. But all that being said, I'll go ahead and just kind of shut up and kill the Gatekeeper again for you guys. So if you missed anything the first time around, go ahead and pay close attention this go around. tasty tea as well. That's nice. And take out these wolves, and then we can go to town on the Gatekeeper. So that is half of his life gone already. He just like bounced away from his hut. Oh, that's funny. And then his weapon was stuck in the hut as well. All right, what do you got for me? You got some stuff. Okay. Okay. That's you know, nothing amazing, but oh well. You know what? Let's go ahead and bomb the wall back here. I don't know why I feel like doing it. I just feel like doing it. And we shall see what we can get from this. Pop a couple of those holly berries so we can get some hydration, and so I don't have to use up my valuable jerky. Okay. Another scimitar, but it's kind of in bad shape. It's a tier 4 piece. Ooh, tier 4 armor pieces. Okay. Some tier 3 armor. Some good stuff in here. Yeah. Relatively, I mean, the 6 mandrake seeds are pretty nice. But yeah, I mean, all of that, considering how long I've been working on getting coal and sulfur and all of that, like, these rewards are pretty blech. I mean, they're not worth what I put into making the bombs themselves. So again, I mean, there's really no point in bombing anything. As far as I'm concerned, there's nothing that's really worth a bomb. But if you just want to complete that mission, that final quest, bombing the Gatekeepers Hut is probably the only thing that's even remotely close to it, and that's just because you have a possibility of getting a flame sword. If you already have a flame sword from the dungeon, or maybe if for some reason you just don't want a flame sword, then really there's absolutely nothing that is worth using a bomb on. But I'll go back to base and I will go ahead and complete that, and then I'll finally have all of the quests complete. That'll be one small thorn in my side finally done. But yeah, that's and by the way, don't think that the armor that I was wearing tier 3 chest and a tier 4 leg piece. Don't think that that's really necessary for the Gatekeeper. It's not. Usually I bring tier 3 chest and tier 3 legs. However, I'm actually completely out of tier 3 leg pieces right now, guys. As I said, again, numerous times in this video, I haven't had the time to grind up a lot of stuff that I would normally grind up in order to prepare for a dungeon. And armor is one of those things. I haven't had the time to do the things that I need to do. But yeah, hopefully I've kind of cleared the air. Hopefully I've not left anything untouched as far as what's going to happen here in the future in terms of my channel, in terms of my dungeon videos and uploads. So hopefully, with any luck, the maximum number of days I will go without posting a video will be 3. At the very most, I can't imagine I would go more than a whole week without posting a video. That would have to be like some unfathomable, ridiculous thing that must have happened in my life if I take longer than a week to post a video. But yeah, hopefully you guys don't mind. I don't have a lot of viewers, but nonetheless, the people who do watch my videos are very much appreciated. And hopefully they get everything that they want to get out of my videos as well. So yeah, that has been this update video. Until I see you next time, guys. Hope you are all doing well, and I will see you next time.